Good morning, folks. Good morning, Israel. This is real difficult. I have to do a pre-crime, I guess this is what this is, because I'm going to talk about election fraud. I already got a strike on that. We're not allowed to discuss election fraud. Well, I'm announcing it before it occurs. So I don't know if I get away with this or not. And I'm entitling this election fraud. And that is what's coming up next week. And the location of the fraud, the crime is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania issued 249,000 ballots, absentee ballots, violating their own procedures, violating their own laws. So we have 250,000 ballots out there that are in violation, and I believe that's where the fraud occurs. And what are they going to do? They're going to drag Fetterman across the finish line. This is a man who was irresponsible regarding his own health. He was irresponsible in his reports to the people he represented. He did not reveal that he had AFib. I have AFib. Been living with it for a long time. My dad had AFib. He lived with it for a long time. I've had strokes. You wouldn't know it. Well, at least most people don't know it until I talk about it. And even the neurologists don't know it until I talk about it. And then when I tell them some of the deficits that I suffered, then they're able to see it, but only after I make the report, after I self-report. Now, am I fit to be a senator? Well, much more than Fetterman, but I still don't think I'd want to hold myself out as a candidate. I certainly am not fit to be president. I don't deal well with the stress. My emotions are too strong. And I'm too pissed off anyway. Let's face it, I'm not happy with what's going on. So you are going to see, and I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I love it when I'm wrong, especially on something like this. You're going to see Fetterman dragged across the finish line by fraud. And we're going to tolerate it again because we have to. Because the evil ones control the country. Do you have faith in this coming vote? Look at how divided we are. Do you know how we got here? I'm going to tell you straight up that as a result of the Great Depression, and we are headed for most likely an even greater depression than the Great Depression. The bankers. There was a young banker, and his interview is out there, and I don't remember his name. I think he has passed away recently. I'm pretty sure he's gone. But he reported that he came up with an idea, a bright idea, how to avoid the Great Depression of 1929. And as a result, his superiors engaged him to do the research. And so for 2 years, he researched the matter. At the end of 2 years, he made his report to his superiors. And he told them that the Great Depression of 1929 would not have been necessary had we been united as a nation. And his superiors listened to him, and they were a little shook up because they had been behind the scenes engaging organizations like your FBI, your CIA, your government, your publishers, your radio people, everything. They had been dividing the nation on purpose. And one of the senior executives of the bank, upon hearing this junior, fellow's report, said, it's never going to happen. We've already divided the people, and they're never going to be united. They did that back then. So the bankers have been doing this psychological warfare for a long, long time. The way I see it is you level the playing field. You do away with the Federal Reserve System, which is a monopoly on money, and it's built upon lies and frauds. It's a debt-based system designed to enslave us all. I mean, the fact that you borrow money at interest and the money doesn't exist. In other words, they give you $100 and you got to pay them $105 at the end of the year. Well, the problem is that they created that $100 out of nothing. They didn't bother to create the $5. In other words, it's a never-ending scheme, a never-ending scam to keep the rat, the mouse, to keep the cage going, to keep him running in the cage. It's a rat trap. So, we're going to see Fetterman prevailing over Oz due to vote fraud in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has violated their own laws again. What kind of crazy people is that? And then Arizona did not change their laws. And yet, the people in Arizona are so pissed off at what's been going on here. I mean, that stupid rhino governor in Arizona, he alone destroyed this economy and destroyed a lot of people here. He's on the Chi-Com payroll, according to Mike Lindell. But when you get down to it, the whole country's on the payroll, especially the man in the White House. He's a Chi-Com agent. What? Look at the senators that had Chi-Com, the one with the Chi-Com driver for 20 years. Feinstein? She's a Chi-Com agent. Yes, Dr. Kent has Chi-Com agents on the mind. Well, the fact is we've been totally compromised, and we have not enforced any laws. What happened to the law for high treason? Why has no one been tried for high treason? You undermined the election system. Is that not treason? Is it not high treason? You changed the outcome of an election. You altered the fate of a nation. So here we have Fetterman. Gives quite an odd presentation, yet it's justifiable. And we've made him into the victim, and we have to help the underdog. We have to vote for the victim, for the underdog. I'm not saying I like Dr. Oz all that much. I don't care much for his philosophy, his undergirding faith. Don't care much for that at all. And it says clearly in the Bible, you're not to set anyone over you except the brother. You know, Israelites were required to select our kings from our brothers. And clearly, we don't have that going on. Look at your Supreme Court. Now, what's your brother? White, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant. Is there a single WASP on the Supreme Court? Oh, hell no. And there never will be another one. Why the Anglo-Saxons? Well, the fact is, we were named after Isaac. Saxons, Isaac's sons, after we were basically kicked out of Israel. And our grandmothers and grandfathers launched themselves across the Caucasus Mountains. That's how come we were named Caucasians. And they broke into Europe, into the rest of the world that wasn't inhabited, at least not by our kind. So, this is my report. You're going to suffer from vote fraud. Mr. Fetterman's going to be dragged across the finish line by 249,000 extra ballots that were not issued according to the laws required in the state of Pennsylvania. They violated their laws before. So, it's a lawless society. There is a statement in the Bible, the man of lawlessness shall reveal himself. I called that man out a long time ago while he was in office. Barack insane Obama. And to be honest with you, it's a direct result of giving women the right that men do not have. That's right. There's no right to vote in the entire Constitution, yet we gave women the right to vote. And manipulation, well, that's just what happens. Women manipulate, and they're easily manipulated. Just ask the Satans. Ask what happened to Eve in the garden. They manipulated her, seduced her. She gave birth to Cain, the first murderer during this earth age. All right, folks, I'm going to go short on this one. Sorry, I hope you don't feel cheated. I really need to go shorter on these. So, vote fraud is what this is entitled, and it just might get me a strike because we're not allowed to not have faith in the system. Are we not allowed to point out crimes anymore? It just shows you who rolls over you. It just shows you who's in control. You and I are no longer in control of this nation. The electorate has not had control. According to one of my mentors quite a while back, he said this. We haven't had control of this since Woodrow Wilson. We're not going to be able to get control until we kick the evil ones out. Who are the evil ones? Read your Bibles. It will tell you. Who are the bad guys? Who are the good guys? May Yahweh bless America.